Okay, so no prizes for guessing what VST we're about to use, but again it's going to be the Sylenth, and in this case we're going to be using it to create a nice big rising synth sound, which is going to last over 8 bars, which will be played throughout the entire 8 bars, using a nice big LFO to sort of sweep it back into play. So I'm going to bring the volume of it back. I can use Apple K to test what it's going to sound like. I'm just going to bring this up below the rest of our track, and we'll call it riser. And it's going to last, as I say, 8 bars. So I'm just going to draw out 8 bars and double click to create it. And it's just going to be one long note. So just draw the note in now to play right the way across those 8 bars. Okay, so I'm going to go into the Sylenth now and just program this slightly. So our first voice, we'll add a couple of voices and detune them just to fill the sound out. And then if we add another voice, which would be a saw, add a couple of voices again, detune them. And then we'll add a low pass filter and some drive. And we'll open the cutoff on it, add a bit of resonance, open the main filter as well, and we'll add some resonance to it. Add some warm drive. And then the main trick of the operation here is this pitch control down on the LFO. So if we click on the LFO, add a pitch control, and we'll bring it right the way back to negative, -10, turn the gain right up to 1, or 10 rather. So at the minute the LFO is set to 8/1. This means it's going to take about 8 bars to get back round again. So we can leave that just like that, and we'll just fill the sound out using some chorus. And we'll add a touch of EQ. That's just to put a boost on the sort of, there's a boost there at 110, and there's a boost there at 3.5. Add some reverb. We can just use the settings that are here, and we'll just add a compressor. And then I'm going to come out of there, and I'm going to go to the sends, and I'm going to add a wee send to our own reverb as well. It's going to push it right the way up. Something that's going to automate rather than being fully up the whole time. So coming into this bar 17 here, we're going to be dropping into this riser, so I'm just going to open our drums, and I'm going to add another kick just at the end. So just go to our quantize and set it to 16ths. So that's the wrong kick I'm on. I want to go to kick 1. So we're going to have a kick here, and then I'm just going to extend this just over the edge. I'm going to have one final kick, and rather than creating a new MIDI or whatever for this, I'm just going to add a crash. And I'm just going to go into our drums actually and just edit that and the volume of that crash. So if we go to the instruments, go to our groove agent, got a crash here, let's bring the volume of that back. Okay, so in this section we're going to have a couple more bits and pieces happening, not just this long synth. So I'm going to add a new audio track, keep it as stereo, and we'll add a second audio track, stereo, and we're going to call this one, we'll call it machine, and we'll call the second one factory noise. And I'm going to open up our pool using the Apple and P control, or Command and P on a Mac, Control and P on a PC. And so we're going to go and drag our machine noise, and then from our pool we're going to also drag our factory noise, drop them both into play. You can see the volume there, the factory noise is going to be too loud. So if you go into the factory noise, let's get rid of our pool, and I'm just going to bring a massive cut on this, so we'll bring it right the way back. And I'll bring the volume of the machine back as well. And we're going to put a high pass. If we go to the machine, click on the extended options, and we're going to do a high pass fade on this, so it's going to click on EQ number 1, set it to high pass number 2, and we can just fade this up over time. So if I just go to the automation line, I'm just going to click on our EQ. So if we go to the more, go to EQ, and it's EQ number 1, and we're going to go to the frequency. We're going to have this fading up over time and eventually out at the end. And then we'll have something very similar for the factory noise. If we go into the factory noise, go to the extended settings, and we're going to do a high pass, but this time it's going to be fading in. So if we go to high pass, and we'll set it up high to begin with, and go to our automation line, go to our EQ, go to our frequency on EQ number 1, go to the R, and we can fade that in over time. And then with the factory noise, we're actually going to send some of this to the reverb. So if we activate that, and then go to our automation line, we're going to go to the send level, and we're going to fade it up over time. And then that'll bring us back into play at the end of those 8 bars. Okay, so in the next tutorial we're actually going to start arranging out the track.